Hello everybody and welcome back to RainBro Crafts. My name is Colton and today I will be making for you the last soap in our tiny terrazzo collection. This is a micro collection that we will be launching the first week of September 1st, and it is just 3 soaps. This is the final video in that. This soap is a new one for us. We haven't made it as a soap before. It is actually inspired by one of our original candle scents that we made called Enchanted Forest. This is a unique process that we're also doing because we are doing one scent in the bottom layer and then another scent on the top layer because of discoloration. So in the bottom layer, I'm making it brown because the fragrance oil discolors to a brownish color. And then the top layer is going to be green. For the bottom layer, we're using a nice cappuccino brown colorant, and then we are putting in some Egyptian amber fragrance oil along with some kaolin clay. I will blitz this up. This one is the one that discolors to a brownish color. The thing that I really liked about both of these layers is that the fragrance oil did not accelerate, it didn't rise, it didn't do anything like that, which I am a big fan of. All of the fragrance oils that I'm using in this video are from Candle Science. Like I said, this was one of our original fragrance blends that I developed in-house, and it uses just all Candle Science scents because that's mostly what we use for our candles. I will blitz this up. This did take quite a long time to come to trace, which is a nice problem to have unless you're trying to do a layered soap, which is what this is, and then it kind of gets a little annoying. If you've been watching our videos, you know our tiny terrazzo collection, all of the designs are kind of inspired by terrazzo tiles. So for the bottom layer, we're using that brown soap batter, and then I have some soap chunks in the bottom of each of those slab molds, and they are all in the like brownish color family because when I was developing this collection, I wanted each soap to have the color of soap chunks to match the color that I was making the bar, so I went with brown for this one. I picked brown and green for this particular soap because it is called Enchanted Forest, and so I was going for like a more foresty, naturey colorway, unlike the purple from the brambleberry or the green from the fresh aloe and white lily. If you've seen those videos, those are the last 2 that have come out. I will stir these up nice and good to make sure that all of those chunks are suspended in the soap batter. I did let this sit for a little bit and then come back through and stir this a little bit more because this was still pretty liquidy and I didn't want all the chunks to fall to the bottom. I then will go in with some purple mica. This is just purple mica from Brambleberry. I think it's lavender is what the color is called, because there is white sage and lavender as one of the fragrance oils in the top layer that I'm doing here. So I wanted to incorporate that purple somehow. We will then bring out our second Cambro of plant-based oils. Those oils are in the description box down below, so you can check those out if you're interested in them. It is an in-house blend that we make that makes a really nice firm bar, but does produce really lovely suds. So if you do make soap or you're trying to make soap, definitely check that oil recipe out because it is our tried and true recipe. I will blitz this up with the lye water, and there's colloidal oatmeal already in there. We'll get this to a nice light trace. I will then put in the green colorant. This is probably Cabin in the Woods or Apple Moss Green. It could also be a combination of the two because those are my 2 favorite green micas. We will then put in the remainder of the fragrance oil. This is cedarwood saffron and white sage and lavender. Both of those are from Candle Science. And then also kaolin clay because we always put kaolin clay in all of our soaps that we make. I will then press that through the mesh strainer there to get out any lumps and clumps. Sometimes kaolin clay leaves kind of bigger chunks in your bar soap if you don't press it through something. So even though it's already suspended in the fragrance oil, this is like an extra layer of protection. I will then blitz this up as well to get it nice and well incorporated. I also want it to get a little bit thicker than what this is because it still is a little runny. I also am giving myself a lot of time for that bottom layer, the brown layer with the purple mica on top, to set up, because the key to a nice crisp layered soap is to let the layers set up between pouring the layer that's on top of it. So while that does sound like common sense, sometimes when you're making soap you get a little anxious because you're racing against the clock. Once you have the lye water and stuff in the oils, you need to move with some haste. Certain fragrances and things like that can help delay the setting up of the soap. But you can see that bottom layer is really well set up. I probably actually didn't need to pour the soap batter over the scraper there, but it is a just nice layer of insurance, because there's no point in being cautious with that bottom layer and then messing up all of your hard work by having the top soap batter dip down into the bottom layer. It also does help prevent splashes of soap batter. So while I do have my arm guards on and gloves and apron, sometimes soap batter can still splash up and like get between the sleeve of your t-shirt if you're wearing like a short sleeve shirt, or get on your face. So even though I'm wearing eye protection safety glasses, the rest of my face is still exposed, so you don't want that batter on your bare skin because it is gonna burn and then it's not gonna be fun. So always extra precaution is good. I will then scrape out the remainder of that soap batter in those two molds. I'm just eyeballing this like always, but it's pretty easy to tell because these are the exact same molds. You can kind of judge the layers accordingly and put more batter in one mold or the other. I will then go in with some of that cappuccino mica. This is a lovely brown mica. It's the only brown mica we really use. And I'm just doing a light dusting on both of these slabs. The tea strainer is purple because I use this tea strainer for that purple mica layer in the bottom. If I was really concerned about the colors mixing, I would have done a new strainer, but since the purple's already in the bottom layer of soap, I wasn't terribly worried about that. I'll then zoom in the camera a little bit and get out my trusty chopstick, and then I'm just gonna go in and do a whole bunch of whirls and swirls. I didn't have a super clear idea for the top of this soap, but I wanted something that we don't necessarily do, and I wanted like a nice like porcupine type texture was what in my mind I was thinking of, or maybe like tree rings and like the little branch nubs that kind of go off of like a stump of a tree or something like that. Very organic, very like natural feeling and looking. And I really did like how this top design turned out a lot. Alright, now that I'm done with that one slab, I'll speed up the camera a little bit because once you've seen technique on the one slab, you don't necessarily need to see it on the second slab. Alright, now that I have both tops done, I will spritz this with some rubbing alcohol to prevent any soda ash. It is warm enough here right now that isn't necessarily something that needs to happen, but I still do it just out of habit. I will then clean off the edges of my slab because I was a little messy with that purple mica and also had some soap batter on there. We'll tuck it away for 24 hours and then it is time to unmold and slice up, and Zach is going to slice these up for us. We will take off that silicone liner and you can see the nice, beautiful, crisp layers. The colors did change a little bit, which we did expect, and that is perfectly okay. We had anticipated that when we were making the soap. And if you hear any weird noises in the background, there's an internet company doing something, laying new cables or something outside, and they decided to just start working right now as I'm recording this voiceover, so there's a ruckus going on outside. The thing I like about this little collection is that they all are cohesive, but they all are different. So they are very clearly from the same collection, but each colorway is very different. Each fragrance is different as well, and I really, really enjoyed that. I enjoyed making this collection a lot. We will see that cross section, and that is exactly what I was going for. The layers, the chunks, all of that stuff is perfect. Okay, my question of the day for you all is, and this is just from a random question generator, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? My superpower that I would want would probably be like telekinesis, to move things with my mind, or teleportation, just because I hate being in traffic. But yeah, I'm curious what your superpower would be and why you would want that. Oh, for telekinesis, I would want that just because I feel like it would be the most useful in day-to-day life, like folding clothes, for example. You could be sitting on the couch and folding your laundry and like putting it away with your mind and not have to get up, because that would be super useful. I would love that a lot. Alrighty, that is it. This is our Enchanted Forest soap, which is part of our Tiny Terrazzo collection. This collection will be for sale starting September 1st, online or in person. Check out our website or come see us at the farmer's market to grab yours. If you do want to support the channel and get soaps, candles, or bath bombs sent to you each and every month from us, check out our website, rainbrocrafts.com, for more details on that. This fine list of individuals that are on screen right now support our channel, and we thank them by sending them goodies from our newest collections each and every month. Thank you so much for your support. I also want to give a big shout out to you all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below that superpower you would want and why you would want it. Also subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon. Thanks. Bye.